See, the world has changed a lot after COVID. COVID has really changed, especially in terms of placement, in terms of education as well. It has changed perceptions also. Companies are no longer limited to geographical boundaries anymore.
Hmm.
And from an educational standpoint as well, it is also true. Companies are no longer looking for institution or physical institutions as such.
Hmm.
And people are more open to certifications as well. But I would say certifications from reputed training organizations and accredited certifications are what is key because, again, after post-COVID, there's a lot of training courses available online as well. But finding the right course, finding the right accredited program is the key in terms of getting a good job, and that's what employers are also looking for, candidates with the right accredited training certifications.
So, an Indian online degree will be valid in abroad, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Please give your introduction to all our audiences who are watching you right now.
Hey everyone, my name is Samuel Joy. I'm the former senior digital consultant for Emirates Group. I'm also the advisor to the World Bank and United Nations for Youth Employment. I started Hunter with the frustration of how the legacy hiring system is used in the Middle East by large enterprises that have unfortunately led to human trafficking issues. So I started Hunter, which is a tech SaaS company. It's a marketplace that helps enterprise companies with 2,000 plus employees connect with service providers such as government, training organization to source, process, and onboard a large volume of job-ready workforce. We have one solution, which is the hiring platform for blue collar workers. Second is white collar hiring. And third, we have the employer of record services. Is the employer of record EOR services
Hmm.
for global companies, especially looking for talent from India.
Okay, okay. That was quite a good introduction. What are the challenges that you have faced till now?
Challenges has been especially which one are you talking about? We have three, as I mentioned, three different verticals.
So, I think you have started with the blue collar for migrant workers. I think you have started building
Yeah.
that up from the beginning. So, what are the challenges that you face there?
So we are working with especially migrant blue collar workforce.
Hmm.
So the Indeed and the Monster and the Naukri tackle the one-off blue collar jobs, but here we tackle the migrant blue collar workforce where they move, let's say, from India to UAE looking for a job.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of touch points involved in it. The market is also mainly legacy hiring players like brokers and manpower agents, and so there's a lot of challenges which comes across with that, especially dealing with the blue collar workforce. There's a lot of documentation required. There's a lot of governmental regulations involved, and so we have to deal with that. So streamlining that comes with with those challenges.
And if I know you haven't started working on it like completely, but what about white collar jobs and the corporate jobs? That niche.
Yeah, with the corporate and the white collar space, we've typically seen both sides where from an employer standpoint, we have seen, companies, the typical challenges, companies asking for, freshers, but they'll ask for experience.
That's
That's I guess a meme all across, which we've also faced as well, and as well as from an employee standpoint as well, we've also seen people signing up for the job, but on the day of the joining, they ghost the employer. So
I mean, employees ghosting the employer, I think that's not a very common scene here in India. And I actually want to talk to you about the employability. I mean, that's a big concern today, especially in India, because
yeah.
we can't see a lot of job openings. We can't, there are so many people who really want to work in good MNCs, big corporate companies, but I think, there is no such openings for them. So, what do you have to say about that, and how are you solving such issues?
We are mainly focused, especially on global jobs, especially in the US, who are looking for companies who are looking for employees in India. We've seen actually quite a lot of jobs opened up after COVID, right? And a lot of the companies are looking into India, not just in the West, but also in the Middle East, especially tech startup companies are moving their workforce into India. There's a lot of employment opportunities happening from especially from the West and the Middle East into India. Actually, one of the challenges which we are finding is the good quality talent. We've seen that it's a very supply oriented market. There's a very high demand for quality engineers, especially, and now being AI being skyrocketing, there's a huge demand for especially sectors positions in AI from India.
So there is a job market there in US that requires Indian employees. Is that what
Yes,
you're trying to say? Do you have any
globally.
But
Not just in the US, globally.
globally, okay. But I don't see that in India. What do you have to say on that? Are you aware about the Indian job market?
Yeah, I think Indian job market is a different scenario altogether, and it's true to what you're saying. Especially, again, COVID also affected that. Markets are opening up slowly, and so as a result of that, the jobs in India has reduced from how it is before. But from a global standpoint, there's a lot of opportunities right now in India.
Okay. How do you think can we solve this problem?
I think skills is what companies are looking for, right? We moved away from typical CVs or
Mm.
going through multiple. I mean, this is so true, right? I guess everybody knows about it, but a lot of the companies still follow the process of going through 2, 3 pages of CVs and trying to analyze what the person is. But at the end of the day, it can all fit into one card, which highlights what the skills are, especially what those skills look like, and then of course the experience as well, a number of years of experience.
Mm.
And so just condensing down those would be very helpful, and also training and certifications as well, those kind of help in giving a lot more exposure. So companies nowadays look for certifications and trainings, especially back in when I started out my career. An example is digital marketing was a big thing, and it was a new thing back then, right?
Yeah.
But it was a buzzword also. So everyone's like putting on the CV that I'm a digital marketer. But the
Mhm.
way in which companies would look for is, do you have a certificate from Digital Marketing Institute, right? And so that if you have that kind of a certification, you're a much more trusted or a skilled person, and you're not one among the thousands of people who are just putting out digital marketing on their CV. And so now with the AI being especially big, data science being big, do you have that seal from a vetted organization or a training institute or a certification program that says that you're vetted among the thousands of people who put AI on the CV?
Yeah, that's true. I think AI is a big game now, and I think there are a lot
Yeah.
of scope also in this career, like data science, AI, ML. I think that's highly demandable job today. Coming
Yeah.
to the skills and certificates that you were talking about, do you think it's still very prevalent? Added skill benefits employer a lot to get a job?
Yes, I do still believe that added skills play a huge role. Now the companies are also looking at not just the skills, but also is the person culturally fit for the organization is another key important decision, because the person might be highly skilled, but if they're not going to work for the organization for a decent amount of time, it doesn't work out, right? So, but at the end of the day, like skill also plays a huge role, much more than probably traditional university, passing out from traditional university. But if you honed on a particular skill, that's something more attractive for the employers rather than the traditional institutions.
Do online degrees also hold a very crucial role, or do they hold value if an employer has an online degree or has attained a particular skill through an online program? Does it hold the same value?
Yes, it does. Depending on the kind of training, especially quite a lot of factors which goes into it. The field of study is very important, and the accreditation as well is important. There's a vast amount of training courses online, and internet has given access to all of those.
Yeah.
But getting access to the right course as well as getting the right counseling about it, the right certification, the right seal, the field of study, those are especially really important. And who it's accredited by, especially if it's accredited by a very popular institution, if it's accredited by the government of India, let's say UGC, for example, those are really important when it comes to looking at courses, because again, there are so many courses available online, but choosing the right one is the key to it.
That's true. That's true. Post pandemic, everything is has turned into an online mode, and there's so many universities also, and that is why College Vidya, checks all the approved universities, and that is how we list all the universities and even edtechs on our platform, so that the student doesn't
Okay.
have to verify those things. We only, list the approved universities on our platform. I
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's much needed, especially in a market like India where there's so many players, so many online courses. It's great that you get to do verification.
Is the Indian online degree valid in US and abroad, or is this not, valued too much?
Well, again, it depends on the accreditation and recognition recognized by the government of India and also
Mm.
by the universities in the US. If it's
Mm.
recognized, students can go in and check whether it's recognized by the university, or they can come to you guys, for example, and you guys
Mm.
have the access to that information pretty much
Mm.
much easier than going online. And they can check whether, especially if accredited by the government of India and
Mm.
if it's accredited by the university in the US, that's significant. If it is accredited, definitely it plays a huge role in terms of, from an advantage perspective,
Mm.
there's flexibility, especially when it's online education, right? You don't have to go to a physical institution. And if you're also working, you can study on the side. All of those plays a big role. And employer perception is also very important. Nowadays after COVID, there's a shift in employer perception, as I mentioned earlier, where traditional institutions are no longer, not just traditional institutions are looked into, but also online courses are looked into, and the
Yeah.
certifications are applicable. But again, the right courses, the right accreditations, those are the important factor, especially when it comes to Indian online courses.
That I understood that it should be, verified by the Indian government. It should have the right accreditation. But I didn't get the point where you said it should be recognized in the US. As in, is there another kind of approval that the university should have, or is there something else?
No, certain training organizations, certain training courses are, based on the working culture, the study based on the US syllabus. If it's customized to that, then it's more applicable, right? It's more advantageous. That's what I
Curriculum
mean.
part you are trying to talk about.
Yes, the curriculum
Okay.
curriculum part, because the culture in terms of both the corporate
Hmm.
differs, whereas in the West especially, it's more flatlined, or it's not very hierarchical in order. While
Yeah.
in India, you find it to be most hierarchical in order. It's not flatlined. In the West, it's more open communication, more informal, and more concise. Where in India, you would find it to be a lot more formal in terms of communication as
Hmm.
well. And in the West, also in terms of promotions as well, soft skills plays a huge role. Cultural fit plays a huge role. In India, you'd find it to be more target oriented, I would say. So if companies are hitting those targets, then the employee would, and especially if the employees hitting the targets, then they're more open to promotion. It's all about picking the right training course. And so you do need to do your own research. You do need to find a counselor. You do need to find somebody who can support you through that journey, who can help you with finding the right course for you, and also just understanding what your vision is, where you want to go to, and what that projection looks like, and which course can help you get there. So for that, most people would need guidance on that, right? And so finding a partner who can provide you with the guidance to reach your vision, your 5-year vision from now, is going to be very helpful. So I believe College Vidya is a very and an amazing institute when it comes to doing that, providing the guidance, finding the right courses for you, and helping you get to your 5-year vision.
I'm sure like there are a lot of expert counselors who guide all our students, who are confused about their career, what they want to do, and just giving them the right platform and the right university to do it from.
My based on my experience, like I wish College Vidya was there when I started out my career, because all of us were very confused with what we're gonna do next, right? But coming straight out of college, it's like, oh no, it's like the end of we are in a tunnel, and we have no idea where to go, and we have to kind of figure out ourselves.
That.
And if you have an amazing partner who can help guide you and hold you through that process, and understand what your vision, or even if you don't have a vision, but help you shape that vision
Yeah.
and give you the steps to reach there, that's amazing. That's what internet and a lot of the partners are now able to provide, which I didn't have back when I was growing up, or when I was in college.
With that, I'll move on to some HR questions that I have in mind. As you are building Hunter app, and you have spoken to a lot of different companies, you meet different kinds of employees, be it migrant workers that you're working for, or for the white collar jobs or the employees. How do these companies shortlist a candidate? What are some of the parameters that a candidate should take care of to get into a job or to get the job that they want?
I think I mentioned before, skill set is one parameter, and skill
Mm.
set is definitely important, especially if it's in the technical space.
Okay.
Definitely, skill set plays a big role in that.
Mm.
If it's more on the management space, then the experience plays a big role in that space. And nowadays, there's a shift in terms of not just looking at the hard skills, but also in terms of the soft skills as well,
Yeah.
right? And in terms of climbing up the ladder, also soft skills is very important. And I've also seen much more advanced companies looking if at the employee and candidates if they're naturally culturally fit to the organization as well. They become so intentional about how their culture is, the corporate culture is, and if the candidate also possess the qualities which they're looking for. So all of this plays a big role.
Mm.
But if, these CVs, 2-3 pages of CVs, all those are all outdated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's about making sure that you're unique in the market with just a single page or a card, which kind
Yeah.
of makes you creative also in terms of how you're culturally more fit to the organization, how your soft skills plays into that, as
Mm.
well as your skills and experience.
In a condition where a employer wants to get a job in abroad, what are the parameters he needs to take care of when it comes to applying for a job in abroad?
And what are some of the upcoming sectors which are hot in the market? As I mentioned earlier, AI is a very hot sector. And even in the technical sector as well, there are languages which are much more demanded than the traditional languages in which programming is done. So, just researching on that, getting the right skill set, and more companies are again focusing on soft skills and cultural fit as well.
Mm.
And from a candidate perspective, how they can be more unique, companies are not looking for 2-3 pages. They're looking for the right skill set, the number of years of experience, and how you can be creative with a one-page CV, right?
Mm.
Because a recruiter typically they make a quick judgment based on a 4-second window. So that's a very, very quick way of judging a person. And
Yeah.
so a candidate has to be very creative when it comes to capturing that attention.
Okay. Yeah, I also wanted to ask you another thing. As I've seen a Hunter app, and do you only list all the technical fields, or there are job availabilities for fields like marketing, digital marketing, other job positions, or you only work for like data science, AI, ML, those kind of position?
We do all kinds of white collar jobs. So
Mm.
as I mentioned, we have three verticals. We have the high volume blue collar migrant worker
Yeah.
marketplace that is specifically focused on blue collar jobs. And then the EOR services, we focus more on the technical because the international companies are looking for technical talent. But
Mm.
we do have other roles as well, especially in finance and HR and marketing. But in
Mm.
the white collar space, mostly we are focused on non-technical roles, especially that is marketing, HR, finance, all of those roles. So I hope that answers.
Are the resume pattern building a resume different from India? Like in India, we like attach a photograph, we like add a little color here and there just to make it very attractive. What do you think works more, like a plain black and white resume, or a very creative, colorful resume works?
So we have an internal tool which we have not promoted
Uh,
a lot outside. So I'm going to open it up over here. What it is,
yeah.
it's basically cards, okay, for instead of resumes, and it's very similar. This is going to be very controversial, but it's going to be it's very similar to Tinder, except for the fact that it's not going to emphasize on the picture, but it emphasizes on more on the skill sets, on the education and everything all succinctly put into one card.
Oh,
So, I don't believe in black and white. It does definitely have to be color, but and everything, all the information can be put into one card,
hmm,
can be put
absolutely.
creatively into one card. And it's just, as I mentioned earlier, a recruiter looks at a CV or a profile for 4 seconds, and they make that quick judgment based on that, right? And so if it can all be placed into one card, then that is good enough. But the right keywords are highlighted when it comes to skills. The right keywords are highlighted when it comes to the experience. And you don't have to put out all your experiences all in one
Yeah.
page. You just need to put the total years of experience as one of the section,
Mm-hmm.
and then just highlight the position and the number of years of experience which you have worked. You don't have to write the whole paragraphs and bullet points on what you did and all those
Mm-hmm.
things. And it's again more like dating, right?
Yeah.
If the recruiter finds you more interesting, they're gonna ask you on a more elaborate CV. And they'll ask you to elaborate more, right? But
Yeah.
if you give everything in one shot,
Yeah.
then it's an overload of information. They don't understand.
Yeah.
They're probably looking for something specific and they didn't see it over there, and they're gonna just
Yeah.
swipe right or left on you. I don't know which
Also,
one.
attention span has gotten so low. Like 3-4 seconds are like the maximum attention anybody can give, especially
Yeah.
when it's just words written on a paper. That's really a great idea, and I'm glad that you shared it over here. I hope it doesn't become a controversial thing for you. I think everything is running like that only. Even on Instagram, we're just scrolling and like this 3 seconds of attention that we can give to any post or any reel. I think jobs are also to be taken like that. I mean,
Yes, we also have an option where you can put 1 minute, and typically, even though you can upload 1 minute, we recommend doing a 30 second. It's an elevator pitch where you pitch yourself. As I mentioned earlier, being culturally fit is important. Soft skills is important. So through that, an employer can identify if the person is culturally fit
mm,
and if how is their soft skills. They can judge because the resume is a static information at the end of the day, but a video gives a lot more context about the person.
with that, I think as I have already got to know about your plans, I think that was my question that I wanted to ask you. What are your future plans? And I think you very well precisely defined everything. It was great interacting with you, Samuel. And nice, we got an overall idea about the job market and everything. I think to summarize the entire conversation, I would say what you are saying is upskilling is one thing that will help you get more and more employable, I think.
Yes.
And keeping check of all the accreditation and from where you are taking that course, from which university or institution, or for that matter what are the accreditation given to that course or particular program is very important.
Yes, exactly. The skill gap is a big factor. The choosing the right course and getting the right guidance and counseling on that is very important. And then from a perspective of how to present yourself, putting it all into a card format, one pager format,
Mm.
highlighting those keywords and skills and a number of years of experience, projecting yourself in a video format, let's say 30-second video elevator pitch, gives you a lot more chance in terms of being selected for an interview.
And that's true. I think thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sukhani.
It was a great interaction with you.